Australia may end up being virus-free. Australia is the same size as the continental United States physically, 25 million people, and New Zealand is on the edge of becoming virus-free. Check this out, leave your comments, ding the bell, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. I talked with my old friend Richard yesterday for a long time, and we caught up on a lot of personal stuff, and we're both total science geeks. I mean, he's one of the most brilliant people I've ever met in my entire life. And he was telling me what Australia is doing, and there's a great piece in today's New York Times about this. The headline in the New York Times is "Vanquish the Virus," as in have a country with no infections. Vanquish the virus, Australia and New Zealand aim to show the way. That's the headline in the New York Times. I recommend you check out the article. But my friend told me that in Australia, he's also an employer. He has a small company in Australia as well as being a professor at the university. And he said that every employer in the country can take up to $3,000 per month per employee from the federal government. 100% of the money has to go to employees. But even part-time employees and even occasional time employees, if you got somebody who comes in, 5-6 hours a week, whenever you need them, that kind of thing, those employees qualify. You just have to give them an amount of money that corresponds with what they had been getting before. And it's just complete pass-through, and it's very, very easy. I asked about, how is the continent? I mean, keep in mind, Australia physically is the size of the United States, and they only have 25 million citizens, but still 25 million people is a lot. Most of them are clustered around the seacoasts because the interior of the country is pretty uninhabitable. And they have a conservative leader, right, Scott Morrison. And New Zealand, the island just down the road, has one of the most famous progressives in the world now, Jacinda Ardern, as their prime minister. And these two are working together. And the New York Times says partisanship is receding. So anyhow, I asked my friend, how are they doing this? And he said the only people who can fly into Australia right now are Australian citizens. They've locked the continent down, the country down. And if you fly in as an Australian citizen, not only do you have to go through a 14-day quarantine, but you have to do it under police supervision. And he said this is because in the early days of this process, they put them up in a hotel. The government rents hotels, and they put these people in these hotels. And some of these people were slipping out at night and going out to party and things. And so now the police actually supervise the quarantine. But they're down to virtually nothing. I mean, they had, let me find the numbers here. Australia has recorded a total of 6,670 infections and 78 deaths. Period, total, full stop. Here in the United States, where where the Sun King rules, right? The Tide Pod president. We have had 871,000 confirmed fake cases and 50,000 plus deaths. Australia's had 78 deaths total, and I believe it was yesterday they had 8 new cases. So they've got this locked down. In New Zealand, they've only had 17 deaths, 1,400 cases. At this moment in New Zealand, they have 361 people who are actively infected who are in quarantine. And that's it. And that's a country of 5 million people. So they're doing that. There's obviously easy and widespread testing and contact tracing and all that sort of thing. So, some lessons that we can get from others. By the way, back to the question of what are you doing at home with this. There's a great piece by Gretchen Reynolds in today's New York Times. Older and stuck at home, expert advice on fitness. Soup can dumbbells. Louise and I found this, online over on YouTube, using dumbbell. Just you can use soup cans instead of going out and buying 2-pound dumbbells or 1-pound dumbbells. Access to a stairwell. Go up and down the stairs until you're out of breath. Use your hallway to walk around. Because we rapidly lose strength when we don't move around. So even if you're just staying inside the house, be active during a phone call. Get up and walk around the room. Walk down the hall. Go up and down the stairs while you're talking on the phone. If you're watching TV, every time there's a break, get up and walk as far as you can in your house. Do some deep knee bends. Do some stretches. Do some exercises. There's for upper body strengthening. You can do arm curls, with your soup cans and lift them above your head. You can hold a couple of soup cans right out in front of you, and raise them from your waist up to your eye level and down. The wall squat is a great exercise where you just go flat up against a wall with your legs shoulder apart and just slowly slide down the wall as your knees go out, and then back up again. Whenever you go into the kitchen, do countertop push-ups, right, where you just put your hands on the countertop and then lean forward and push yourself up and down off the countertop. Having an indoor herb garden, they suggest, is a great way. It just gets you up, bending over, kneeling down, looking at what you're doing, watering your plants. There's dance videos. There's all kinds of stuff on YouTube for exercise, yoga classes, all kinds of great stuff.